champions.
Well, swiftly on to the final group judging for CRUFTS 2023 to find out who will be the final dog to go through to Best in Show later on this evening. We move on to the toy group, and these are the very small companion or lap dogs. Some of them are bred just for that purpose, and some, well, Frank, they're simply there for their size.
Their size, the toy breeds have been bred for centuries as household companions, historically for the lady of the house. But here's our lady judge tonight, Anuka Palaheimo, who's come from Finland to judge. She's been involved in dogs since she was a young girl. Her main breeds were Cavalier, King Charles and King Charles Spaniels, but has judged all over the world and Best in Show in all continents.
So in come our best of breeds from the toy group, and first into the arena tonight is the Affenpinscher, which is a little dog of German origin.
Oh, he's seen something. He thought it was a little mouse, perhaps. That's what
he's developed a cool vermin,
exactly. Yes, he killed. And here's the Australian Silky Terrier coming in next. Striding out well. Look at the sheen on that coat.
And here, yeah, the unmistakable Bichon Frise comes in, Frank. Lovely soft corkscrew curls.
And another from the same family, the Bichon family. This is the Bolognese. Looking a little more windswept than the Bichon.
Now we have our Cavalier King Charles.
The Cavalier King Charles Spaniel comes in, getting a good cheer from the crowd in the arena.
And the first of our Chihuahuas is the long coat Chihuahua.
Oh, here's the first of the Chihuahuas, the long coat Chihuahua. Full of spirit, full of confidence, looking round. Are you looking at me?
I think everyone is. And the smooth-coated as well comes in behind. So the same breed standard as the long head, but just that different coat, and pretty inquisitive as well.
And now please welcome the Chinese Crested.
The distinctive outline of the Chinese Crested here. My Little Pony, that mane of hair and the tail.
This is the royal dog of Madagascar, the Coton de Toulier.
One of our native toy breeds, the English Toy Terrier.
The smart little black and tan English Toy Terrier, bred down from the Manchester Terrier.
And now we have the Griffon Bruxellois.
This is another with a real terrier-like personality. This one from Belgium, the Griffon Bruxellois.
Next up is our best of breed Havanese.
The Havanese, another of the Bichon family.
And now we
National
have
dog
the
of
Italian
Cuba.
Greyhound.
Look at the elegance and high stepping action of the Italian Greyhound.
Now our best of breed Japanese
And this breed
Chin.
first originated in China, then made its way to Japan. It's the Japanese Chin.
And the King Charles Spaniel.
Here's the other of the Royal Spaniels. It's the King Charles Spaniel. This one a tricolour.
Now we have our Lurchen, or Little Lion Dog.
Yes, this one, the little lion dog bounding into the arena, the Lurchen.
And next up, it's the Maltese.
And here is the Maltese, another from the white Mediterranean breeds, the Bichon family.
Now it's the turn of the Miniature Pinscher.
The Miniature Pinscher, much like the bigger version, the miniature variety was an original rat catcher.
And now we have the Papillon.
The little Papillon from France and Belgium, the butterfly dog. Its ears like the spread wings of a butterfly.
And underneath all that hair, it's the Pekingese, an unmistakable sight.
And coming in with that dignified rolling action which typifies him.
I think there'll be quite a reaction for this one.
Now it's our best of breed Pomeranian.
In comes the Pomeranian, bred down from the German Spitz. It's the smallest of the Spitz breed.
And I would say they look a bit like a Jaffa on legs, Jaffa orange on legs, yes. And here's the Pug, hugely popular breed originating in China.
Here we have the Yorkshire Terrier.
Well, this quite a well-known dog, Conan the Yorkshire Terrier, made it to Best in Show last year.
And representing the imported registered breeds, we have the Russian Toy
And
Terrier.
the Rusky Toy Terrier has come from the import register classes. They're
So
classes
that's
for
all
breeds
of our
which are just
best breeds
developing
into
their
toy group
population
this evening.
in this country.
I'll now hand you over to Kim Sillis-O'Neill and Graham
Well, we've
Hill
seen
to
such
take
a
you
wide
through the rest of the
variety
group.
of breeds come in there, haven't we, in this toy group? Different shapes and outlines. And now for our judge Anuka to cast her eye before she gets a good look at each individual dog, and we'll see how it moves as well across the floor. A lot of these dogs make good household pets in terms of not needing as much exercise as the bigger breeds.
Their history is interesting because many of the toy breeds are bred down from sporting breeds. It was sometimes the tradition for the huntsman or the sportsman of the house, if they had a litter of puppies, the weakest one would be given to the lady of the house to rear. And so therefore they were miniaturized and they were bred for size and were sometimes known as comforters. They used to be bed warmers for the lady. Yeah. And going round them now, taking in the outline. Very elegant in her appearance.
Well, we see bags of personality in these small frames, don't we, in so many of these breeds.
And here is she's awaiting the first dog. It was the rather naughty Affenpinscher, which was...
So the first of the toy group that our group judge will come.
The Affenpinscher is the first in the toy group. Jeeves, little dog, known as the Black Devil dog, should have sparkling dark eyes, you can just about see. It's one of the oldest breeds in the group.
In German,
He should look rustic and untrimmed. He shouldn't be coiffured. He used to look like a little black street urchin, they used to call him. And he used to keep down vermin in the stables, so they could be quite feisty, quite spirited. Still looking round in this new setting, the movement of the Affenpinscher is said to be like a floating goose step. It's sort of a straight leg action, light and brisk. And there he's showing it off nicely.
Seemed a little overawed maybe by the arena when he first came in, but he's only 1.5 years old. Sorry, this is Fleurs.
And this is a big test for temperament, coming in this big arena with thousands of people watching and all the applause, all the lights, and looking round, taking it all in. Now here is the Australian Silky on the table. It comes from a crossbreeding of the Australian Terrier with a Yorkshire Terrier and has inherited some of the characteristics of both. The judge just look at the silky texture of the coat. That's from the Yorkshire Terrier, the blue silky texture and the rich tan on the head. Although it's in the toy group, its ancestors used to be working terriers.
The way that coat is groomed, Frank, because we see the parting all the way from the neck right the way through to the root of the tail.
Yes, it's a key feature. The colour and texture of the coat is a key feature, and it takes a lot of care to keep them like that. But
next on the table we see Bichon Frise.
Bichon means white dog, and Frise describes the very soft corkscrew curls of this distinctive coat, which doesn't shed either. Bichon's a family of dogs originally found in Mediterranean France. That's where the breed was developed, but Bichon Frise thought to have existed in Tenerife as far back as the 14th century.
These dogs have been immortalized in the
Judge, just feeling the texture of the coat, it should be soft corkscrew curls, dark pigmentation to set off the white coat. She will have looked at the pads, they should be black as well. They were often carried about by the lady of the house in ornate baskets, the little companion toy dogs. Very smart. Look at those lovely eyes peering out from that coat. Dark eyes, dark halos of skin around the eyes.
You can see the back of the pads, can't you, from behind when the
That's
dog moves.
one of the key points, to look at the pads going away. You can see the blackness, yes. Very smart. Lovely carriage, lovely proportions in the outline.
That's 4-year-old Moose.
Now here is the Bolognese. It was developed in Italy, as its name suggests, in the area of Bologna. Again from the Bichon. Its coat is not It's white flocks of hair, rather a different texture to the Bichon we've just seen, but it shares some of the other traits, the compact body, the dark pigmentation, and the dark eyes. You can see the pigmentation on the lips and nose there to set it off. They're a lovely breed. They should be sturdy and square, and I love this sort of windswept quality of them. They're beautiful.
This is Cassie, who is 7 years old. So the jet black eyes, can't you? The eye rims as well, black nose.
It was a breed which was very popular in the households of fashionable society. They became perhaps one of the early handbag dogs, as it were, the dog to have in the home. But beautiful.
You can see the tail carried, curled over the back.
This is the Bolognese, number 16908.
This is an 18-month-old Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, close relation of the King Charles Spaniel that features later on in this toy group. And the Cavalier should be a sporting dog, bred to a smaller size. Of course, became popularised through the courts of King Charles I and II.
Again, a rich Blenheim colour, chestnut and white, and he gets that name because he was bred at Blenheim Palace, yeah, by the Duke of Marlborough, but earlier in the royal palaces of Charles I and Charles II. Apparently the palace was overrun with them in King Charles' reign. He would do nothing without his companions. Anyway, they're bred down, like many of the toy breeds, from sporting spaniels. So the sporting spaniels on the estates, the small puppies given to the ladies, they reared them. They were miniaturized version. Okay, there is the Cavalier.
Breed Standard talks about it having a soft expression, and those big eyes definitely help with that.
Now this is the Chihuahua, reputedly the smallest breed of dog in the world and hailing from Mexico, the Mexican state. Theory has it that he may be a descendant of the Aztec Indian dogs, and again he was certainly used as a comforter dog for the ladies who settled in Mexico from Spain.
Well, we've got the largest breed in the world already through to Best in Show, haven't we, in the Irish Wolfhound? It would be quite something if this long-coated Chihuahua, as the smallest breed, was to make it through. Quite the contrast.
Now, they may be the smallest dog in the world, but they don't know that. They're full of their confidence and self-importance. Look at that strutting carriage, the lovely level back, the tail carried high, a mark of its confidence. And the judge will be looking at that domed head, those large ears and large eyes. Wonderful, wonderful show dog here.
I love the way the Breed Standard talks about having a saucy expression.
That's very saucy.
The breed was judged today by Amy Davis. And she chose this dog.
So the smooth-coated Chihuahua, the same Breed Standard as the long-haired, but just this different coat. And classically flared ears as well. Got a good view of those, and the domed skull, large dark eyes, also a real characteristic of this breed. But that smooth coat must be dense, and the tail, of course, then lacks the plume of the long coat, but still carried over the back.
And the tail is fairly flat and thick. It's curved over the back. Again, the great challenge in breeding miniaturized dogs is not only to get the features, but to get soundness. You don't want anything, you can be exaggerated, and then you want them to be sturdy, be functional. That means they have to have all the ability to live well.
Here we see our best of breed, Smooth Coat Chihuahua 17455.
The Chinese Crested is the next breed on the table. Judged today by Mr. Robert Dunlop. There was an entry.
The striking outline of the Chinese Crested. There are two varieties. This is the hairless version with just the crest of hair down its neck, on its pasterns and feet, and on the plumed tail. Gives it the name sometimes of My Little Pony, and there you see the large pricked ears, plumed, this well-chiseled head. The judge just going over the shoulders, feeling the bone. Everything is important. The dog has to be made well, so it can move well, so it can live well. It wants good heart and lung room in that rib cage, well-angulated hind legs to allow it to move well. Here, the judge now will look at the movement as it's going away. Comes also in a coated variety, the powder puff, which is fully coated all over.
That tail's carried high, isn't it? Like a real plume, a waving flag almost. This one is young, just 17 months old. It's Walter.
The breed is thought to date back to the Han Dynasty. Larger versions of this were used for hunting dogs, and the smaller were household companions for the ladies.
Now on the table we see the Coton de Tulia. The breed was judged today by Dizzy Espinen from Norway.
The Coton de Tulia has a real distinctive coat. It's only a single coat. A lot of breeds have an undercoat. The texture, though, is really important here, more so than the length. Looking for a cotton texture, really full and supple, slightly wavy, but heavy, curly or silky.
And they have a distinctive coat texture like old-fashioned cotton. It's a single coat, a lot of grooming needed to keep the coat looking like this. So this comes from the top, one of the older kennels in the breed, the Cool Cotton Kennel. We saw them with a breeders team the other evening. Strutting out nicely there. The distinctive outline of the dog should have an arch over the loin and then the tail carried over the back, and there we see the typical outline of the dog.
That's our best of breed, Coton de Tulia, 17666.
The next dog to be judged is the oldest of Britain's native toy.
And something quite different, a dog with very little need for grooming, the English Toy Terrier, always in this black and tan colour, and like many of the breeds, is bred down from the sporting breed, bred down from the Manchester Terrier, became popular in the Regency period. They were fine-boned, the same wedge-shaped head, and ears like candle flames, the shape of candle flames. Although it's fine-boned and dainty, it has this lovely extended trotting action. And although it's a toy dog, it still have terrier temperament. They could still acquit themselves well and say goodbye to the mice and rats. They're still very sporting. A toy with terrier temperament.
And it's on the vulnerable breed list, isn't it? Which means that less than 300 were registered in the last year. Also the oldest British native toy breed.
Mr. Stephen Seymour was the breed judge, and he had an entry of 67.
This one from Belgium, another terrier-like personality, the Griffon Bruxellois. And when we get to see the face there, the monkey-like face is a real feature. And you can see why it's thought to share some ancestry with the Affenpinscher, a real cobby appearance to this one, sturdy and heavier of bone. This is a 2.5-year-old dog, Arthur.
Very nice entry today for Stephen Seymour. He's originally from Australia, very good judge. He judged the breed. He was strongly associated for many years with the breed, kept them, and he was talking to me. He said this is a beautiful dog, and it was his first big win today. So nice. He said the handler is a little bit nervous sometimes in making the most, but here she's doing pretty well in the big ring here.
It's a big occasion, isn't it?
Come also in a smooth-coated variety. Again, it was another one which was a good vermin dog. They have great characters and personalities. And here is the Havanese, the national dog of Cuba. It's another from the Bichon family, and it arrived in Cuba with the Phoenician sailors from the Mediterranean, and it was popularized by the wealthy families. Silky textured coat, a distinctive outline, the top line rising towards the tail. It's not a level top line. The judge just feeling the coat texture there.
It's such a full coat, Frank, but it doesn't shed, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's that's one of its advantages. It's also very sporting and wonderful springy action. It loves life, full of personality, and we'll see that jaunty, springy action when it moves. Became very popular in America as a show dog, and now that popularity is spreading. A big entry here today.
This is our best of breed Havanese.
This is Jovi, who is 23 months old.
And the next dog on the table for our group judge to go over is the Italian Greyhound. Judged today by Dr. Russell Hodges.
A real dainty and exquisite breed, the Italian Greyhound, rather like fine-bone china. There's hound ancestry there, of course, and the Italian Greyhound is a miniature sight hound. It dates back to ancient Egypt and the Roman Empire.
The wonderful elegance of outline of the Italian Greyhounds, all curves and symmetry, thought to be bred down from sporting hounds like the Whippet, the Greyhound in Italy. And you could see paintings of dogs like the Italian Greyhound in the old masters' paintings going back to the 16th century. Amazing. And look at this wonderful high-stepping action, one of the features of the breed. This one has come from Canada and became a champion today. He's been in England 3 times and has won the CC, making him an English champion.
It's said on the breed standard to carry an aloof expression. Maybe a little.
Mrs. Lista now judge the Japanese chins today from an entry of 77.
And now the Japanese chin, an Oriental aristocrat. It was bred in China, but it arrived in Japan as a gift from the Empress of Japan to the Empress of China. It was an exclusive breed for the wealthy, and the penalty for stealing one was death. That's how much it was valued. It's a cobby dog with a wonderful silky textured coat and a lovely padded muzzle and those large dark eyes, giving this oriental expression.
Breed standard talks about perhaps having a look of astonishment. You see sometimes in the eye the little white in the corner.
And its strutting action should be full of pride and dignity in its action.
A real profuse coat, isn't it? Long, straight and silky. Shouldn't be curly in any way, though.
And they come also in lemon and white, not just black and white. The word chin, the Japanese chin means cat-like, and it is scrupulously clean in its habits and often cleans its muzzle with its paws, rather like a cat. The Japanese chin.
This King Charles Spaniel is only 22 months old, sporting spaniel that's been bred down. So different to the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, this one has a domed head, shorter muzzle, and is just slightly smaller in stature. Still a very compact and sturdy dog, gentle and affectionate.
Yes, the King Charles and the Cavalier come from the same source. They were bred down from toy spaniels, and indeed, the two were kept in the royal palaces. The shorter-faced King Charles became popular in the Victorian times when there was a desire for shorter faces and shorter muzzles. The pug became popular at the same time as well.
That movement should be free and active and have a bit of an air of elegance to it as well.
The breeders have worked very well in the breed to improve the soundness of movement, the bolder temperament, and of course they're shorter face, but the breeder working hard with the BVA schemes for breathing, so they're very health conscious in the breed these days. And here's the Löwchen. It's a German name meaning little lion, so it's known as the little lion dog, and it gets its name because of the clip. It's got this mane of hair over the forequarters, then the clipped hindquarters, and then a plume of the tail, rather like a lion. Another theory of its origins is that it comes from China and resembles the lion of the Buddha.
And this one is 9 years old. Plenty of experience, is a champion dog. Kenny, eager to go as well.
This was also known as a comforter dog to provide warmth, snuggling up on a chilly night.
It's the shaved hindquarters where most of that warmth would come from.
Yeah. Large, lustrous eyes.
Mrs. Mary Thorpe from Ireland was the judge of Maltese today. There was an entry of 44. And
Stunning coat of the Maltese, and as you can probably guess, this breed does originate from Malta. A very sweet-tempered dog, with dark brown eyes set against that pure white coat, and that hair should always be straight, although when the dog gets on the move, the coat should never hamper the movements of the dog.
Again, the judge looking at the coat, feeling its texture, and also looking at the pigment of the skin, which is important. Usually looking at the black pads, the black nose. Now, I have to say that this looks beautiful. It's come from Spain, another winner from overseas, and it looks marvellous on the table there. Won today under Mary Thorpe from Ireland, a renowned toy specialist. Wonderful carriage, confident, that top line remaining absolutely dead level, and that wonderful pigmentation. This has taken my eye.
You see the tail carried over the back and the head carried proudly as per the breed standard.
And the next dog on the table is the miniature pincher, judged today by Mrs. Nikki Mackey. Today there were 68 of them.
Now the sharp square outline of the miniature pincher. Just being a little spirited on the table. It's a miniaturized version of the German pincher, which we saw earlier in the week in the working group. It's bred down from the original rat catchers, a mini version, but still capable of fulfilling the same function, full of confidence, and having the same shape as the Schnauzer. It's square, slightly sloping in its top line to a high set tail, and moving with something of a hackney action, a high lift to its front action, and a balancing rather high lift of the hocks as well. Gives it this strutting hackney type action.
Quite a young dog here as well, just 15 months old. This is Otto, who's come from County Durham. The miniature pincher said to have a fearless temperament and a really spirited dog. Now, Papillon, you might remember, won Best in Show in 2019. So this is the sort of butterfly dog, and of course the name comes from the way the feathered ears look like the wings of a butterfly when they're alert. Thoughts have been developed from European toy spaniels as far back as the 15th century in France and Belgium. A really striking appearance.
Wonderful expression with those spread wings of the butterfly on either side of its face. This comes from a famous kennel in Dublin. It's Sean Carroll handling, been in the breed since he was a schoolboy.
And of course, coming from Ireland, the pet name is Guinness.
Right. My goodness, my Guinness, as they used to say, yes.
From Dublin, no less.
Although this is the spread, the erect ears, there also comes in a variety with drop ears known as the Phelan or the moth. It's essentially a toy spaniel. Now, here's the Pekingese. Our judge looking at the Pekingese, looking at its head, checking the underjaw there. There's large, lustrous eyes. This is another of the Oriental aristocrats. It takes its name from the Peking palaces, where it was bred and much loved and much prized. It was an exclusive toy breed. The handler going over the body, feeling the soundness of the hardings, and now picking it up to feel its weight. It should be remarkably heavy for its size, coming from solid bone. So it's a compact dog with a lot of substance. This coming from a famous Birmingham-based kennel, Picus. So here he is, strutting his stuff.
And this one, Frank, would have also had to have passed a veterinary check in order to come through to Best in Show, part of that Breed Watch programme, to make sure that dogs who have passed through are of the utmost health.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm pleased to see this dog. I'm pleased to see this dog here because he won Best of Breed under me last year. Yeah.
Pomeranians were judged today by Sue Smith from an entry of 135. She selected
the Pomeranians bred down from the German Spitz, and the smallest of the Spitz breed. The head and nose should have a fox-like quality to it. Slightly flat skull and those ears carried erect. 2 coats, an undercoat and an outer coat. And underneath that soft and fluffy outer, long and harsh in texture, perfectly straight, and should have a frill that extends over the shoulders there.
And the judge just picking up its hind legs to see that it stands firmly. Want good limbs, even on all of the toy dogs. These are fine-boned, lovely little neat feet. And it's up on the leg. It's a sort of short-bodied, but up on the leg to give it this elegance and briskness on the move. It should be, the standard calls for buoyant on the move. Look at it.
Love the expression. This is Caesar, who is 3 years old.
And look at that confidence in the carriage. Absolutely loving it, yes.
Oh, even throwing in a trick for good measure.
Pomeranian 18601.
Now we see on the table the pug.
And here is the pug on the table. Large entry of them today. This is another breed which comes from China. It should be a dog which has the standard called for multimin parvo, which means a lot of dog in a short compass. So it's sturdy, substantial, but the breed is working hard that it should not be too fat, too heavy. And also they're wanting it to be sound and fit. It's another of the flatter face breeds. So today the Kennel Club were offering DNA tests for BOAS testing and other hereditary diseases. And there was a queue all day of exhibitors queuing up to have their dogs health tested. That's a good sign.
Yeah, it's a really good initiative, isn't it? You can just see what a robust dog this is. 4-year-old Dot. Yep, eventually getting on the move. a few distractions.
So the head of the pug is round with a little wrinkle to give it these character wrinkle on its head. Large nose and large nostrils, very important for good breathing.
And this one will have passed a vet check as well to come through to best in breed.
Now on the table we see our best breed Yorkshire Terrier. The breed was judged today by Richard Haynes. It was an entry of 86 dogs.
You might remember this particular Yorkshire Terrier. It's Conan, who's now 7 years old and was the group winner last year. So looking to make it 2 out of 2. The Yorkshire Terrier with its silky coat, and the only breed which can be exhibited on a red decorative box. Not today, however, just the bow in the hair.
Again, the judge looking at the comb, combing the hair through there, silky textured. It should be steel blue and tan. And the fall of hair on its face, 3 shades of tan, deeper at the roots, fading to the end. This dog has a remarkable coat. For a 7-year-old, it's taken a lot of care to keep it like that. Still retain that lovely colour. Sometimes they fade to a lighter silver when they're older. This dog's kept this steel blue. What wonderful movement, wonderful top line, level top line, high set tail, and really strutting out soundly there.
And again, always remembering it's a dog that was bred for hunting rodents.
The breed to be judged in this toy group this evening is the Russian Toy Terrier. They came through from the...
Now, here from the import register classes, we have the winner today is the Russian Toy. This is a relatively modern breed and has become popular not only in the UK but all around the world. It's thought that the Chihuahua and the miniature pincher and perhaps some other toy breeds, perhaps the Papillon also, played a part in its development. Comes in a variety of colours, and you get in the long-haired variety here, we see here the fringing on the ears and the tail and the back of the legs. They all come in a smooth-coated variety. Jaunty movers, full of confidence in their carriage.
It's the Russian Toy 5-year-old named Pride. So these are our best of breed for the toy group, and we'll find out in just a few moments who will be going through to best in show.
final look at all 24 dogs together. Put your hands together for this lovely
Well, some
boy.
wonderful examples, which of course is the case for the best of breed.
Beautiful silhouette there, and very alert and arrogant. The Bichon Frise there with his lovely pigmentation, dark skin under the white coat. Anuka walking round, taking in the outlines and balance, reminding herself of what she liked or perhaps what she was critical of when going over them.
It's going to go through to the Best in Show competition later this evening. And it's been a long day and these little dogs are showing their hearts out for us. Let's hear a little applause more for them.
Now, having looked round them, she'll step back and then come down and make her short list.
So as our group judge returns to the front of the line, I'm sure that will be the start of our shortlist.
The Australian Silky Terrier comes out,
The Australian Silky,
the Cavalier,
Cavalier from Charles
and the long coat Chihuahua, who put on a great show. There's the Chinese Crested coming out as well.
Chinese Crested,
The Japanese Chin comes out.
the Japanese Chin,
Oh, a walk past the Maltese. There's the Papillon and the Yorkshire Terrier.
that
So,
concludes our shortlist. Please give a warm hand of
a
applause
short list
to
of
our
7
other
this
best
time.
breeds.
There they go, the
Congratulations
Cavalier,
on
the
this
Chihuahua,
successful
the
CRUFTS
Chinese Crested,
2023.
the Japanese Chin, and the Papillon and Yorkshire Terrier. So,
Well, Conan's still in the running then, Frank.
he is indeed. Yes, we'll see. And looking well, looking marvellous at 7 years old.
This, though, is our Australian Silky Terrier on the move, Kexi, 2-year-old, who has travelled here from Finland, a champion dog, multiple best of breed and group placements.
And here, this young Cavalier made up very early, had a terrific puppy career, and became a champion just after 12 months of age, yes. And of course, this is Anuka's own breed, the Cavalier. This really struck me, this lovely long coat Chihuahua. That looks marvellous. Gold and white, in great form, and what carriage, what confidence.
Do you think he knows his name is Million?
Yes.
It feels like $1 million.
Sent forward into the group ring by Judge
Sparkling
Robert
Prince,
Dunlop.
the Chinese Crested, My Little Pony, strutting out there, an
Yeah.
extended trotting action.
This was the one just 17 months old, Walter from Sweden.
Breed specialist judging today, and here's the Japanese Chin. The judge told me today she'd had some lovely dogs. Liz Stannard said the winners were outstanding. This one coming again from Scotland.
Now here goes the Papillon.
Very, very eager. The
Seventh
Papillon,
group
just
by Caroline
unmistakable.
Slater.
This was Guinness from Dublin.
Very fine-boned and dainty. The Toy Spaniel. It's an Épagneul Papillon, a continental Toy Spaniel.
Chance here for Conan to impress once again. Won this group just last year.
And he's going to be a hard nut to crack tonight, I think. He's looking wonderful.
Well, he's done all this before. It's nothing new.
Now, there's 7. She'll make your mind up time, Anuka. She's sending them round, so they'll get a...
Is going to top our toy group.
Looking at the top lines, the reach and drive, the little Chihuahua, full of confidence and enjoying the occasion. All going well. They may be small in stature, but great in heart and great in personality. That's the toy dogs. Yes, the Papillon, the red and white Papillon.
What can they do at this stage,
Well,
Frank, to be winning the judge over?
Well, it's catching with ring presence and performance, and they've all carried themselves really well. Great ring presence.
Our award board in place.
The Chihuahua looks
Everybody here in
great.
position for our 7th
Cavalier is a
finalists
very good
to go
lineup.
forward
7 of
to
them.
Best in Show later this
Well,
evening.
Who to go through to best in show? Will our judge have one more look, or has she made her mind up?
The winner of the toy
The Cavalier has won the group.
King Charles Spaniel.
Anuka obviously thinks highly of it. She's bred them for many years now. Oh, Conan in second place, the Yorkshire Terrier.
Just missing out on 2 and 2.
And there's that marvellous Chihuahua coming forward.
18862.
And the final place goes to the Papillon, the young Papillon champion. But it's the Cavalier that wins the group.
Oh, what a result. This is 18-month-old named Dublin. He's travelled here from Essex. And that's Tanya Island, their handler. But that's fabulous. King Charles Spaniel is the final dog through to best in show.
And this wonderful wagging tail, full of life, enjoying the occasion.
To present the prizes to our group winner this evening.
Well, the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel joins the standard poodle, the wolfhound, Irish wolfhound, the wire fox terrier. The old English sheepdog is through, remember, the Doberman and the Lagotto. So our lineup is complete. And it is Dublin, the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, who we'll see later on in Best in Show.
It always gives me great pleasure to do this little interview after each group. You're having a nice chat here. Hello, guys. It's Tanya, isn't it? Hi, Tanya. So I think that sounded like a really popular win. The Cavalier King Charles is a fantastic breed. Tell us why they're so special and why this particular one is.
They just love life. They love everybody, everything, or they should anyway. And he just loves every minute, and we adore him. So, yeah, I couldn't be prouder.
And is this a first for a Cavalier?
No, Cavalier's actually won, I think, Best in Show, if I'm right, in 1973. Would I be right?
You might be. I need to check my research. But you've only actually got a few minutes, not that long, until you can actually come back into the Best in Show ring. How are you feeling about that?
It hasn't sunk in yet. Give us a few minutes.
A few minutes and maybe a cheeky Prosecco?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, many congratulations to Tanya and this gorgeous toy group winner, the Cavalier